It's not something that you have to explain. You already know who the crooner is. So yeah, please introduce yourself, drop your name, drop where you're streaming from, and drop what you're into in cybersecurity. Right? My name is Frida. I'm joining from Nigeria. So what am I into in cybersecurity? My tax. Something. But yeah, please, those of us that are really in cybersecurity, please drop your information. We would like to know. And on the YouTube too, please. We are also watching you there. So please drop it. Share the link out. We have 5 minutes till we start. Share it out to your friends of friends, friends of friends, enemies of friends, your friends, your enemies, the enemies that hate your friends, everybody, family, relatives, share it out, right? Nobody wants to miss this session. This session is going to be one of the most insightful we've had so far, right? You joined January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, and now you're joining our September session. So you won't want, you've been receiving this knowledge over and over, so you won't want someone you won't want someone to miss this. Okay, Michael. Michael is streaming from Asabao. Welcome, Michael, and he's a cybersecurity analyst. Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. That's amazing. Please, thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for joining. Please, any other person, please just introduce yourself, where you're streaming from, your name and everything. So, and also if we still have 4 more minutes. So please, if you can, and if you're in a good environment, you can switch on your camera, right? If you're well dressed and everything. If you're not wearing clothes, don't switch on your camera. But yeah, you can switch on your camera. My camera won't be on because I'm currently outside now. So, but if you are in an environment where you can switch on your camera, you can switch on your camera. You can switch on and just say hi to the wave to the. I can see the Crooners camera is on, even though it has been on since. But every other person, you can wave to the camera just to say hi before we start. We have 4 more minutes till we start. 4 more minutes. 4 more minutes. 4 more minutes. Please share the link out. Share the YouTube live stream link out. You can share it on your X. You can share it on your Instagram story. You can share it on your WhatsApp status. Anywhere at all you want to share it, please share it. Share it on your group chats, on your cybersecurity group chats and the likes. Share it everywhere. We are waiting for all of you. Wow, Regan, this is a new name. I haven't seen this name in a while. Hello, Regan. Welcome to this session. Please, introduce yourself, your name, and where you're joining from. We have T-3 minutes till we start. So yes, I really want to get to know everybody here, every single person that is joining us today. Please, please, please. Okay. I think we have more people that are even joining in. I think I've seen some. Okay, Isaac. I've not heard from Isaac. Isaac, please drop what your name is Isaac. But yeah, you can still drop your name in the chat box. What you are doing in cybersecurity, where you are joining from. That's Nigeria. And our guest. How would I have forgotten our guest? Oh my. Forgive me. Our guest is here. He's streaming from Liverpool. You can see. Look at how far he is now, and he's here to finish us with knowledge, finish us with wisdom. So please, and please, thank you so much, our special guest Aliyu. Thank you so much for coming today. Yeah, he's a cybersecurity engineer and a community volunteer. And I'm sure you would know his name. Don't worry, I'll introduce him. I don't want to spoilers. I don't like the spoilers. I don't like the spoilers. I like the spoilers. So I will not spoil, the gist. But yeah, please, introduce yourself, where you're joining from. Thank you so much, everybody that has introduced themselves. And if you're on YouTube and introduce yourself, don't worry. I'm virtually seeing it from here. But yeah, please. Thank you. So we start in about 2 minutes. So yeah, as I said before, please share the link to the group chats you are on. The group chats, they will allow you to share it so they don't get removed from group chats. Share it to several places that you are. If you have friends from work, share it to them. Friends from school, share it to them. Friends from friends, share it to them. Your exes, share it to them. Your babes, share it to them. Nobody's exempted from the knowledge we're about to receive today. So everyone that you can't share it to, please do. We are about to start. Once we start, we're not going back, okay? I would have put out the pun now, but I'll control myself. I won't do it. But yeah. So yeah, we're not going to rewind anything. So please just join them so that they can get everything firsthand. So we start in about a minute, right? So very soon you'll not hear my voice again. So please share this link, share it out to all the friends you have, share it out. And if you're just joining, please introduce yourself. Okay, I can see someone just introduce themselves. Isaac, welcome Isaac from Abuja. Welcome, and Favor from Warri, welcome again. So I'm going to leave you guys now, and I'm going to hand over to the crooner himself. Daniel, over to you.
All right, thank you very much, Frida, for that wonderful introduction. Can you just confirm that you can hear me? Am I clear?
Yeah, we can.
All right, great. So, welcome everyone to this session. It is another month again, and it's amazing to have everyone here. Anytime we have this session, it always looks very new to me, even though this is our seventh session. I'm just going to do a brief introduction of what the community is all about. This is the CyberCrooners community, and we only have one goal, right? Our goal is to raise the next generation of cybersecurity professionals. We have noticed that there is a bridge, there is a gap between what happens in the industry and what we trying to go into the industry, So we are trying to bridge that gap, and that's what the community is all about. We have had over 7 sessions. We have had over 6 international speakers and industry experts, thought leaders, and we have had over 500 learners on the community, right? So it's a growing and thriving community, and we only have one goal. The goal is to advance cybersecurity awareness and excellence. And today is not going to be different, right? Yeah, I'm so sorry about that. My network tripped off there. All right, so as I was saying, today is not going to be different, right? We have one of um the greatest thought leaders in Nigeria in cybersecurity, Mr. Aliyu, and we're going to talk about how to become a global cybersecurity talent, right? We see that everyone is probably getting an international job. Someone is relocating to cybersecurity. How is this? How do we move from being local champions to being global champions? And that's what this session is all about. It promises to be amazing. And if you don't have your pen, if you don't have your notes, get your pen, get your notes. You need to jot down because there's a lot of interesting things to talk about. And also, don't forget if you have questions, you can drop it in the chat box. We're also streaming on YouTube. So if you're joining on YouTube, you can put your questions in the chat box. All right, so that'll be all. I'll leave the stage for further to continue.
Thank you so much, Daniel. That was a wonderful introduction. And if you are new to the Crooners community, well, you're welcome to the one big family. We're a wonderful family here. So without further ado, I would go straight to the business of the day. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the moment that we have all been waiting for, and it's finally upon us, right? So now we'll invite our special guest to speak on the topic we've seen all over our LinkedIn, our X, how to become a global cybersecurity talent. But before we do that, I would love to share his citation. Now, our speaker today, Aliyu G Yisa, is a prominent figure in the global cybersecurity field. He's a talented professional, recognized for his skills as a software engineer and for his innovative work as a startup founder. He is also a passionate advocate for accessibility and diversity in technology. His career is built on a solid background across various industries, from telecommunications and fintech to edtech, and he holds a Master of Science in Cybersecurity from the University of Salford, giving him a strong academic foundation to support his practical experience. And one thing that truly distinguishes him is his dedication to making a more inclusive and accessible cyber community. As the founder of FirstApp, he works to remove barriers by making cybersecurity training and tools available to more people. And I'm sure everybody here has heard of Cyblack. He's also the co-founder of Cyblack. And what he does there is to help nurture and mentor the next generation of Black cybersecurity talent to make a community that is focused on growth and shared knowledge. Ali is a respected voice in the industry, and he's a popular speaker at international conferences like AXCON. He also made significant contributions to academic research on important topics, including machine learning in intrusion detection and security of drone networks. His impressive efforts to promote diversity have earned him a finalist nomination for the Cyber Diversity Award at the UK National Cyber Awards. He's a forward-thinking professional committed to innovation, education, and creating a digital world that's not only secure, but also fair. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, any other gender that's here, please join me in giving a warm, please, I want to see your virtual hands clapping. If your virtual hands are not clapping, we'll fight though. We are going to fight. We are going to fight. If they are not clapping, we will fight. So join me, one and all, to give a warm virtual welcome to the amazing, incredible, renowned, which other English can I use? Please help me with English. To the amazing Aliyu G Yisa. So I'm going to leave the stage back over to you, sir. The stage is yours. I have disappeared. I'm not here again. Please, thank you. And thank you so much, sir. All right. I hand over to you.
Well, I don't even know where to start. It seems I've forgotten everything I came here to say. Um, that was, thanks for that warm introduction. Um, yeah, I don't know. I'm just me at the end of the day. So, yeah, it's not. Don't think of me as some kind of legendary figure. They're just they're just embellishing things at this point. But yeah, thanks everyone for joining. I'm here to talk about how to become a global cybersecurity talent. And I have a very simple, very small slideshow that I want to show you. Um, this is visible, right? Cool, thanks. So, how to become a global cybersecurity talent? Um, what even comes to your mind when you hear global talent or global cybersecurity talent? Does it mean you are physically located in a different location, or you're located in a country where maybe their cybersecurity industry is a lot more advanced than where you're from? To me, what global talent means is just being world class, regardless of where you find yourself. So you might be located in the UK, you might be located in Nigeria, you might be located in Ghana, Zimbabwe. Doesn't matter where you're located. What matters is how do you nurture your talent? How do you become world class to the point where wherever you find yourself, you'll be recognized as world class. So that's what it means to me. Um, so I want you to think about that and think about what does world class mean, right? Where do I need to get to become world class? And if you can write that down somewhere, that would be nice. Like what is your goal, or what kind of things do you want to be doing when that would distinguish you as someone that is world class? Very important to, keep all this in mind so that you can have a more like systematic approach to, you know, building up your career. So one of the most important things, or should I say the most important thing, is to actually know your stuff. Like, yeah, the visibility helps, being online, sharing what you're up to, and having that kind of like external validation. That's all nice. But at the end of the day, the number one thing is you have to actually know your stuff. And you also have to be patient with yourself because, especially if you're just getting started, it takes time for good things to actually cook. Like it takes time to become very good at something. But yeah, try to make sure you know your fundamentals, master your core concepts, and then build on that with consistent skill development, learning and practicing, working on projects. Oh my, like this is like one of the most important things. Try to build that practical experience by, working on projects. I don't care what your project is, but you have to work on projects that showcase your skills, um, and try to learn from others as well, like, seek mentorship and guidance, not only from people that you think are more advanced than you, but also people that are just like you, up and coming, or wherever stage you find yourself. Try to connect with other people in that same stage because they, you can all relate to your goals and your frustrations and whatever else that you're trying to do. So try to maintain a strong community with people like yourself. And like I said, keep good company. This is basically the same thing. Keep good company. Keep company with people who are, if you have, if you have very strong ambition, like if you have very ambitious goals, then you need to surround yourself with people who are also as delusional as you are. Because, you know, if you're surrounding yourself with people who don't have like that same type of vision, um, you might even get discouraged at some points because not everyone has that same level of ambition to try and go for things that you don't even know how you're going to get there. You're just like getting started and you want to get there. So you have to surround yourself with people who also have that same level of delusion so that you can motivate each other and push each other because this is hard. This is very hard. Like becoming a global talent or becoming world class at anything is very hard. And you need to be delusional sometimes for you to get through those hard times and see that future of like, okay, I can get there. I can actually do this. Because without that motivation or passion, you might end up giving up. And being around people who don't share that same uh, level of ambition is one of the surest ways to lose your motivation. So, the second part is love your stuff. I kind of touched on this earlier, but I'm going to just share a video. I really hope this you can hear uh, the sound of this video when I play it. Okay, I can't even hear the sound. One second. Please let me know if you can hear the sound.
And it's totally true. And the reason is because it's so hard that if you don't, any rational person would give up. It's really hard. And you have to do it over a sustained period of time. So if you don't love it, if you're not having fun doing it, you don't really love it, you're going to give up. And that's what happens to most people, actually. If you really look at the ones that ended up, being successful, unquote, in the eyes of society, and the ones that didn't, oftentimes it's the ones that are successful loved what they did so they could persevere when it got really tough. And the ones that didn't love it quit because they're sane, right? Who would want to put up with this stuff if you don't love it? So it's a lot of hard work and it's a lot of worrying constantly. And if you don't love it, you're going to fail. People say you have to have a lot of passion for what you do.
Oh, so basically, what he said exactly. So that's why I played the video, right? So you have to, I'm not going to go into like what area of cybersecurity you should go into or whatever. At the end of the day, it's up to you. It's up to you to decide what you really enjoy doing and just push that to the maximum, right? So the next one is, getting into like the visibility as well. Because again, for you to be recognized across borders, for you to be recognized um, internationally, you need to document your work. Like, what kind of projects are you working on? Are you a volunteer for CyberCrooners, for instance? Documents that somewhere. Be known for something good. Like, whatever it is that you're doing, make sure that the people around you know that you're good at it, or that you're very much interested in it, because a lot of opportunities come based on someone telling you about the opportunity. They might not even be like referring you to the opportunity. They might just say, I saw this somewhere. You might be interested. Can you apply? And you might be perfect for that opportunity, but if you don't know about it, you're never going to apply to it. So make sure everyone knows what you're good at and what you're interested in, because they might come across some opportunities, or someone might be working in an organization where they need someone with your specific skill sets. And again, if they don't know that that's what you're good at, they can't refer you to that opportunity, or recommend you for that opportunity. So that's very important. And it also ties into like the next one, which is networking with others. Don't be scared to like reach out to people online or in person. Well, in person, like at events. Uh just make sure that you're genuinely uh interested in learning about other people, but also telling them about yourself. I know this is very difficult if you're like an introvert, or if you think that you're not good at it, but I'm also an introvert. Um, and over time, I just like forced myself to become better uh at talking to people and going to events and doing public speaking. So it's not as if I'm really good at this stuff, or I'm like naturally good at it. I've just forced myself to do it and get better over time. So you can't be scared of failure, or scared of rejection, or things like that. You just have to like endure it until you become very good at it. And um, having a strong CV, again, we've done different sessions focusing on the CV aspect. So I won't, you know, go too deep into that, but make sure that you're you're presenting, or you're showcasing your achievements effectively. And one of the biggest things that I've noticed about especially people who are just getting started is, like, I've reviewed some people's CVs, and I'm like, you're selling yourself short. I know this person, I know what you're capable of, I know what you've done, what you've achieved, and this CV does not represent that. Someone that doesn't know you looks at your CV, they're not going to get the full picture of your capabilities. So you need to do that. And after all these, like, working on projects, documenting everything, you need to create that package of the entire product. And wherever you find yourself, present yourself professionally. Um, and also, like, with presenting yourself, you need to think about it like you are marketing a business, for instance, right? You would think about, okay, who am I trying to reach? Who are the kind of people that I want in my network? Um, what kind of what should I focus on when talking to this person, right? Like me, for example, there are so many things I'm involved in, so many different aspects. But if I meet someone at an event, I'm not going to start talking about every single thing, because the person will just get bored, and like you're just talking too much. And uh you have to create time to learn about the other person as well. So just focus on what you think is the most important thing, depending on the audience or the person that you're talking to. I'm going to play another video again, and this is all about having audacity. Like, well, I'm just going to play it now, and hopefully you're going to hear this as well.
I've actually always found something to be very true, which is most people don't get those experiences because they never ask. I've never found anybody that didn't want to help me if I asked them for help. I always call them up. I called up, this will date, but I called up Bill Hewlett when I was 12 years old, and he lived in Palo Alto. His number was still in the phone book. And he answered the phone himself. Yes, hi, I'm Steve Jobs. I'm 12 years old. I'm a student in high school, and I want to build a frequency counter. And I was wondering if you had any spare parts I could have. And he laughed, and he gave me the spare parts to build this frequency counter, and he gave me a job that summer in Hewlett Packard, working on the assembly line, putting nuts and bolts together on frequency counters. He got me a job in the place that built them. And I was in heaven. And I've never found anyone who said no or hung up the phone when I called. I just asked. And when people ask me, I try to be as responsive, to pay that debt of gratitude back. Most people never pick up the phone and call. Most people never ask. And that's what separates sometimes the people that do things from the people that just dream about them. You gotta act. And you've got to be willing to fail. You've got to be willing to crash and burn. With people on the phone, with starting a company, with whatever. If you're afraid of failing, you won't get very far.
So yeah, just like I said, you have to make bold moves. You have to be willing to actually take action. And I say this a lot of time where, you know, someone reaches out to me and we have a conversation. It's like, I want to get into cybersecurity. I want to get into cybersecurity. And maybe I share like a beginner course with them. Hey, you can do the complete beginner part and try hack me if you're starting from scratch. Like, and then I meet them like 3, 4 months later and we're having the exact same conversation. They haven't done anything and you just keep dreaming. So I understand that a lot of people are facing a lot of things in life. Of course, you don't have like unlimited time, but if you're really, really interested in this, you need to be able to take action and try to go ahead and do things. Because, if people see that you're actually proactive, you're doing things, you're not just saying that you'll do things, they'll be a lot more willing to give you their time or give you like whatever help that you're asking from them. Because, you know, imagine spending 30 minutes or 1 hour with someone or giving your own time, like time from your own life, and they just go and they don't actually do anything with that information. That's like a waste. So try to actually like show that you're proactive and you take action and you just go ahead and do things. Not everything you do will work out, of course. Some things might not, some projects might not be successful, but everything that you're doing, you're definitely learning from it, right? So if you decide, I want to be a pen tester, and you go and try and learn those skills and you try to do bug bounties or whatever, if it doesn't work out and you figure out that, okay, this is not the best for me right now, I need to try something else, all those skills that you've learned are not wasted, right? So you need to be willing to go that extra mile to take action. So, I kind of go ahead of myself a little bit here, but basically, you need to create opportunities for opportunities to find you. Opportunities are not just going to come out of the blue, right? One, you need to be prepared for when that opportunity comes up, regardless. Um, but two, you need to create, like, increase your lock surface area. That's what some guys at Y Combinator call it. Where, yes, like your hard work isn't everything. Your hard work is important. Putting yourself out there, applying to things, that's important. But there's an element that you can't control, which is sometimes some opportunities just come and things just align and things just happen. But those things don't happen to people who don't try or people who don't uh make the best efforts. And even if the opportunity comes, if you're not well prepared for it, you might not get it, or you might get it and fumble it. So you need to try different projects, like try different things, and just increase that surface area for opportunities to find you. Where I already talked about online presence and networking. Um, you need to engage with the cybersecurity community as well because, like CyBlack, for example, just being part of like the alumni network of people who have gone through the internship or any of the programs. Sometimes, other alumni or, maybe one of the co-founders find opportunities and then we bring it to the community to say, hey, who's interested in this? And I personally know a lot of people that have gotten jobs, really good jobs by just being active in that community. If you're not active when that opportunity comes, you'll never be able to find it. And you need to make yourself discoverable to recruiters and collaborators. So that's why if you have online presence, platforms like LinkedIn, you need to make sure that your interests and your projects are well documented there, such that if someone types in, I don't know, let's say you're interested in like malware analysis, someone searches for malware analysts in Abuja, and your name doesn't, your profile doesn't show up, then you have a lot of work to do. So that's also like very important. Or if it might not even be a recruiter, it might be someone that's looking for collaborators for a very interesting project. Um, so this is very important as well. You need to contribute, you need to make impact and solve real problems, either by contributing to open source projects, volunteering and giving back to the community, or teaching others and sharing your knowledge and experience, right? Again, going back to the topic, becoming a global talent, it doesn't happen overnight. And, if you make an impact on something, no matter how big or small that impact is, that is something that's a testament to your capabilities and a testament to who you are. So, this is kind of like the same as what I said earlier about having audacity. So don't be scared of rejection. In fact, when you get rejected, like that's take it as like, yeah, I'm making progress, right? Um, and I've had like a few opportunities where I got like very interesting rejection emails where it says, sorry, we're not proceeding with you. And then at the bottom of the email, there's another opportunity that they're saying, okay, maybe you can apply to this opportunity, or maybe we can consider you for this other opportunity. Or, there was a funding I applied to a couple years back and I didn't get it. And then I just replied the email with like, well, thank you for the feedback, because they gave me like detailed feedback on like why I wasn't the right fit for the opportunity. And then the person responded. I was surprised, and he said that, well, thank you for your kind words. Some other people that got rejected were just very rude in their response. And I was like, okay, yeah, let's connect. And yeah, I connected with with the person. So don't just because you don't get an opportunity, it doesn't mean you should like burn the bridge or whatever. And when applying for positions, like don't don't think that, oh, because you don't check all the boxes, you shouldn't apply. Of course, you should apply to relevant opportunities. Don't go and apply to where you're not even a good fit at all. But don't wait to reach like 100% of it before you get it. Because the thing is that someone who has every single thing on that list most likely is going for something higher than that to kind of like stretch their capabilities. So very rarely you'll find you know someone getting hired and that meets every single checkbox, because sometimes when they're hiring for a position, for example, the there might be someone that was in that position that has left, and so they're creating a job description based on every single thing that person was doing. But the person didn't get there overnight. The person wasn't hired with all those capabilities. The person grew into those capabilities, right? But then they put the job posting out there to try and get the same profile, but that's like very rare. So if you think you're able to do the role, just apply really. And so back to this world class thing, right? It's not about global talent or world class. It's not about um going to another country and all that, even though yeah, that helps, especially if you're moving to a country that allows you to earn more money or creates better opportunities for you. But the funny thing is to create the opportunity to be able to do that, you also need to be world class wherever you find yourself. So even at home, you can be a global talent. I'll give you a perfect example. I know someone who's like a very senior security engineer who uh has built like different things. Like he has built security tools just by himself, and he has contributed to like open source projects. And this guy is in Nigeria. He's in Lagos, Nigeria. He started getting involved with an API security community um, because the people that created that community also created an API security tool, and they have like learning courses and stuff like that. So he started getting involved, and he was testing their tools and just giving them feedback on like, hey, this I tested this and it didn't really work. Um, this is what I think you guys should do. And he for free, he didn't get paid for all that. He was just like giving them free advice and being very active in the community. So they made him an ambassador, and eventually they approached him to say they want to hire him. He didn't necessarily apply for a role. They approached him, and this company is a I don't even know where they're based, but they have like a global reach. Um, and is doing all that from Lagos. So this is not a matter of like relocating, right? Yeah, that might be something that you do at some point, but um you also need to have the capability and be and you need to be world class yourself first before you can uh become a global talent and start getting involved in international stuff. So it's kind of both important, like being good at something and working on projects, but also putting yourself out there and going after those opportunities, and never get stuck in your comfort zone like, oh, I'm good at this, and just like relax, right? That's not world class. um And I already talked about reaching out to global opportunities. Oh, and this same person as well, like, was a speaker at a global API security conference as well, and he did that from the same Lagos, right? So, and at this point, if he wants to move to another country, it's going to be much easier for him to do it because he's proven himself, and he can go for those opportunities. So, if you are looking to to relocate, if you feel like you're ready to go for like opportunities that will allow you to move to other countries, there are different global talents or similar visas that different countries offer, like the UK's global talent visa, Canada, Australia, Portugal, Estonia, UAE's golden visa as well. I think the US has one. I forgotten what it's called. I think it's called EB1 or something like that. Um, but from my experience with UK Global Talent, you can't just stand up one day and say you want to apply to UK Global Talent visa. Like you have to show evidence of the impacts that you've made, of what you've actually done before you can apply to it. That's why I didn't start with this. That's why I started with like all the things that you need to be doing to be world class. Once you're world class, all that's left is to document all your evidence, make sure you're following the whatever the guidance or the official documentation they have and putting it in the right format. So yeah, that's it for me. I'm very eager to hear any questions that you have. I don't know if I've passed my time, to be honest. I didn't want to speak for this long, but I ended up talking for longer than I wanted to. Hopefully we still have more time for questions. Back to you, Daniel.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Lee, for that. Fela is meant to take some of the yes, we still have a lot of time. Fela is meant to take some of the points from the session. I don't know if you can hear me. But yes, if you have your questions, please start putting it in the chat box. Personally, I learned a lot, and I'll just say some of those things that you talked about. You spoke about loving what you do, right? And before loving what you do, knowing your stuff, right? Loving what you do, have the audacity. Talk about networking, talk about collaboration. Um, the passion is very important first before talking about the money. And you also said, most importantly, you need to be world class. You necessarily do not have to be in another country to be, doing great stuff, right? You can do small things even from where you are and also be world class. So very amazing. So we had some questions during the registration, so I will take some of that and um we'll continue from there. And also, if you have on-site questions, please begin to drop them in the chat box. So the first question we have here is, how can someone with little or no background break into cybersecurity? And what's the best starting point? The person gave ethical hacking, SOC analyst, GRC.
Wow, okay. I mean, this is a question you always get. Regardless of what your topic is, there will be people asking this question, which is fine and it's good because you are in the right place, like, right? You're already doing some of the things that you should be doing, which is going to events like this, sessions like this, and connecting with other people. So you're already doing some of that stuff. You're already on the right track. Um, but I think I'll take it back to what I said first, which is like know your stuff. You need to build up your knowledge of security concepts. Yeah, sorry about that. So yeah, you need to become very familiar with security concepts, but also like your knowledge of like things like networking, those foundational knowledge of information technologies, how does the internet work, how does network work, and all of that stuff. Very important. Um, but also you need to, I mean, some people are starting from scratch. No, most people that are trying to get into cybersecurity are not starting from scratch. They're coming from other career paths, whether it might be technical or it might be a non-technical career path. It might be coming from like petroleum engineering or whatever. So try to look for areas of common ground such that once you have very strong fundamentals, you can start looking at, okay, I'm coming from a career of healthcare, for instance. I work in healthcare as a nurse. What what is what is the impact of cybersecurity in healthcare, right? Those kind of overlapping areas are ways that you can use to build up yourself, um, and try to stay consistent with your learning. Doesn't matter how many, like, don't try to over stretch yourself and say, okay, I'm going to do 4 hours every day. At some point, you're going to get tired and burnt out. So even if it's 45 minutes you have every single day, try to do something every day. Yeah, some days you might push further. You might push for 5 hours or something. Other days, just have a minimum baseline and try not to overextend yourself, right? I'm also still falling victim to this. Like even very recently, I'm starting to face the consequences of like pushing too hard and yeah, it's not nice. It's not it's hard, very hard to get back up when you're burnt out. So try to maintain a steady pace, and that consistency is very important. If you think about it, um if you spend so much time trying to learn something and you're able to maintain it for 1 week or 2 weeks, and then you leave it and you come back like 1 month later, everything has cleared from your head. But if you're consistent with it, um, you're slowly but surely building up your knowledge and skills. Another thing I used to do a lot of, but I still do to some extent, is listening to different podcasts where they talk about. Their different podcasts have different purposes. Some are talking about cyber news. Some of them are bringing senior professionals to talk about their experience. Sometimes they're talking about like cyber attacks, whatever it is. Just regularly try to put that into your life one way or the other, whether you're washing plates or cleaning your house or like you're walking somewhere. Try to build that into your routine because it's almost like they're mentoring you. Just that you can't ask them questions directly, but it's almost like they're talking to you and they're teaching you directly because over time you won't notice it happening on a daily basis. One day you'll just notice that, wait, I just had a conversation with something about this, and I felt confident, and I sounded like I knew what I was saying. It's from all these different things that you're doing and building that security mindset over time. It's it's going to take time, but if it's something you're really interested in, it's worth it.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Liu. I think consistency is very, very important. Most people have they like to join the hype of, oh, I'm a security, I'm an ethical hacker, and then they'll start today, they won't continue tomorrow. Especially when it comes to even pen testing, like you are doing CTFs every time. If you don't constantly do it, you would forget what script does this, what is the query for this. So consistency is very important. I know, like you said, listening to podcasts, listening to sessions, very, very, very key. All right. So another question we have here is what affordable certifications, courses, or resources are recommended for beginners to gain practical skills and global recognition? Affordable certifications and courses.
Um, well, there's always YouTube. Um, you can learn any concept you want by searching it on YouTube. But again, some of them are very you have to be very selective because sometimes you find there's some really good content out there, but there's also some like AI generated like slop content or content from people who maybe they've done security plus, they don't have experience. So you need to be very selective with the kind of content you watch. But also I would say Try Hack Me has a very good beginner path. They have different learning paths, but if you're starting from scratch, you can do the beginner path and just try to go up uh gradually. So they have paths that you can follow. And yeah, you can get your badges and share your badges to say I've completed this and that. In terms of certification, I I wouldn't say this I recommend this one over that one, right? If you're a beginner, you have different options. You have the ISC2CC, you have the Security Plus. Um, but again, it's very expensive. Especially if you're in Nigeria or most African countries, like the currency exchange rate is it just makes it very expensive. So it depends on what you want to do. If you can afford it, definitely go for it. Security Plus is a good one to have. But I would focus more on actually gaining the skills, gaining the knowledge, working on projects, before doing certifications. Does that answer the question?
Yes, it does. Thank you very much. Right. So, like you said, Try Hack Me is there. You have Hack the Box. Try Hack Me has a very, very interactive course outline, right? And also, focus on building your skills. I know companies that will actually even pay for those certifications. So get those
Exactly.
skills, and you might even land the job, and the company is willing to pay even to your CISSP or something like that. So build, those skills. Number three, we have how can professionals from other fields, law, software engineering, successfully transition into cybersecurity and specialize in areas like digital forensics or global roles? I don't know what global roles mean, but I mean, how can someone transition from a field in IT to cybersecurity? Yeah, I think that's what the
Well,
question is.
yeah, and I mean, you are already at an advantage, right? Because most likely you already have a lot of the background knowledge that you need. Um, and you'll find it sometimes people in cybersecurity start to struggle with some things where, let's say you manage to find yourself in a role and they ask you to start reviewing firewall change requests. You're the subject matter expert. You're supposed to like nobody will say like nobody expects you to just start learning about networking at that point, right? So you want to have strong fundamentals. So if you're coming from IT or software engineering, you most likely already have lots of good background knowledge. What you can just do is like top it up with, for instance, if you're a software engineer, if you're work, depending on what area of software engineering you specialize in, you might not be very good with networking. So brush up your networking knowledge and then learn the fundamentals in cybersecurity. I started out as a software engineer myself, and it's a bit different because I have been interested in security since then. So whenever I'm trying to like build software, I always try to research, okay, what are the potential security risks here? What kind of secure coding practices can I use to make sure that I'm developing secure software? Or if I'm learning a new framework or programming language, I try to learn about the security aspect of it as well. So if you're still in that field, try to think about, okay, what can I learn that would make me better at security in my current role? Instead of trying to jump, like there's no rush, right? Try to apply security where you currently are, learn about it, and start contributing. You can become a security champion and try to like advocate for security to other people within your organization. Who knows? Maybe someone in the organization might recognize that and say, you know what, we need we need a security team, or they might already have a security team that's hiring, and you have a better chance as an internal candidate to move sideways into that role. So try to, yeah, I know digital forensics, all that stuff sounds exciting and stuff, but the most important thing is to try and build up that foundational knowledge and try to apply it in your current role so that when you're finally ready to move into a fully security focused role, you already have experience. Combining your software engineering or IT or whatever experience you have with the security related work that you're doing. So when you're talking to
Yeah.
a recruiter or a hiring manager, You're not just saying, "Oh yeah, I want to do this." You're talking about things that you've already done.
Hmm. Yeah, thank you very much, Saf, for that. So, like you said, find a way to embed security. Try to be the security champion of your team. Not necessarily you. You don't have to come to the security team where you are currently. How can you embed security? How can you use, cybersecurity to make your work better? All right. So, another question we have here is, what does it take to become a global cybersecurity talent, standing out in job applications, gaining remote opportunities, and overcoming challenges such as bias or international rejection?
Okay. Uh, that's a very good question. I believe parts of the question have been answered from the actual like presentation. I think I'll focus more on where you're trying to go for international opportunities and overcoming that bias. Um, I think the biggest problem is not even the bias, right? The biggest problem is um the fact that most companies are not hiring internationally to begin with. Most companies are hiring locally. Yeah, they might say fully remote, but they will be hiring in their specific in a particular country at the very least. Sometimes they have branches in different countries, but again, if you're not from those countries that they're hiring from, there's just no chance, unfortunately, right? So you need to also be aware of that when you're applying. Like if they say, oh yeah, we're hiring for someone in uh Manchester, you're in you're in Lekki or Ikorodu or you're in Maitama, like you're not there's no point. There's no point wasting time going after that opportunity, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, so there's that, and there's also the fact that even companies that might be willing to hire internationally, they might not be able to due to some compliance, HR stuff. So that already narrows down the potential opportunities. And then let's say for the small percentage, very, very tiny minority that might be willing to hire internationally, again, they might not be looking at Nigeria specifically, or they might say, let's face it, there is bias, right? They might say EMEA, Europe, Middle East, and Africa, but the A is silent, and you only know after you apply. That is
Mm-hmm.
real. It's real. It
Yeah.
happens, right? So I wouldn't say don't be bothered by that, right? Because those ones are already like just put them all in the same category. They're not those are no opportunities that are for you. And if it happens, fine, move on. Like, but there is a small, even smaller minority of companies that are willing to hire in African countries. Sometimes they might even be specifically looking to hire in Africa, right? So again, your job is to well do everything I said in the in the presentation, which is like know your stuff, build your skills, be world class and all that stuff. Because again, if they're hiring internationally, they want to hire the best, right? Think about it. It's very competitive. If they're hiring internationally, they're hiring from many different countries. Think about all the talented people that will be applying for those kind of roles. So you yourself have to be world class. That's why I started with that. No matter where you are, like find yourself, you need to be world class and you need to document your projects and all those things so that when you apply and they look at your work, they'll be like, okay, I need to talk to this person. That is what you want to have.
Mm-hmm.
So and sometimes they don't even post these opportunities as like jobs that you can apply to. Sometimes it's by having the right network or again, once if you're world class and your impact is international. You're building a network that is international, right? That increases the surface area of the opportunities that you'll be exposed to. So it's not just like a list of things that you need to do. It's like an entire strategy that combines different things. It combines your own skills and capabilities with like your portfolio of projects, with your reach and your network. Like you have to be attacking at all different angles because the opportunities are scarce. And when the opportunity comes, you want to make sure that you're ready for it. So it's a combined strategy. But in
Yeah.
terms of the bias, the only thing that we can do is to continue showcasing the uh the positive side, which is the majority. Majority, like think about it. What is causing the bias? Because of the perception of like fraud and Yahoo and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But if you think of how many fraudsters are there versus how many people who work in tech or who are trying to learn tech, cybersecurity, software development, it's not even close. Huge majority is the people that are trying to do positive things, right?
True.
Um, so the only thing we can do from our side is to continue doing good and to continue um showcasing that to the world because I'll tell you there are people that specifically look at African countries to hire from because they recognize that there's talent here there. So don't focus on the negatives, focus on the positive side.
Positives. Yeah. Thank you very much for that. I mean, the bias is always going to be there. I was a personal, or like call it testament of the bias. I applied for a role in January. It was a Canadian job, and we were on it for like 3 months. So we did series of interviews, and just for us to get the lawyer to sign the contract, they said, "Oh, you can't sign the contract. That no, they can't do business with someone in Nigeria. Nigeria has a very, very bad." And I was like, "What?" So for 3 months, you're on this. You knew that this was going to happen, and so the bias is always going to be there. We just have to keep showing the positive side, like you mentioned. All right, so we'll take the last online question. I'm going to go into the on-site question. So this question says, what are the challenges you have faced in your cybersecurity journey? How did you push through? And what advice would you give to help others stay motivated and succeed?
Wow. Where do I even start? I think there are different dimensions to that question. There's challenges that you'll face when you're trying to get into the field, which is things like, trying to even get interviews and all that stuff. There's challenges that you face while learning that you have to like figure it out or try to find a solution online and all that. And there's challenges that you face on the job. So where do I start? I guess I'll start with me trying to get into the field. So like I mentioned, I was working as a software engineer, and I kind of became like an unofficial security champion. Um, and then I got an opportunity to do a master's degree, which of course I did in cybersecurity. And um, after my master's, so the way I approached it, and I think try to approach things in that kind of way. Not saying you should do exactly what I did, but the way I approached it was as soon as I got into the UK to start my master's program, I started looking for like events to go to. It was 2020, 2020, COVID 2020. As early in the year as COVID was, I think I ended up attending up to 3 events. Two of them in Manchester and one of them in London before COVID started. And then of course like COVID went and ruined everything. So started going to online events and stuff. So I approached it as like we're here to fight. This is not we're not here to play, right? This is a battle. So I tried to do everything I possibly could to make the best of that opportunity. So after my master's, even during my master's, actually, I already started applying to jobs, and um, of course, mostly rejections. But I started noticing some kind of patterns from some recruiters where you would have a conversation with them and they start asking for like tech stacks. Do you have experience with React? And I'm like, I'm applying for a security engineer position. Yes, it's good to have experience with the same like software frameworks that they use, but at the end of the day, as long as you have that security expertise and you're able to read code and you're able to do application security testing, whatever it is, those are the skills that matter, not the specific framework, because you're not the one developing the software yourself. So sometimes I got those kind of feedback where it's like they were looking for they were they were looking for too much from my perspective anyway. They were looking for too much. I was like, and that almost made me uh I stopped focusing only on application security roles. And I was like, you know what? Any cybersecurity role I get, I'll get in and just do it, right? Because I had my master's at that point. So the way I navigated that was like, you know what? Try and get any cybersecurity role. I actually eventually got a software engineering role before I got my first cybersecurity role. And I was like, you know what? I'll just do it. It's like this is not my long-term plan, but I need a job. And it was better that I had UK experience to try and get into cybersecurity, my first cybersecurity role. So I eventually got a cybersecurity engineer role, which I did for about a year before I finally got my first like application security role. So somehow, even though that role was not application security specific, it was enough to create a perception of like, okay, this guy has experience and he has experience as a software engineer. Combine those and you have the right fit. So sometimes you might think that I can do this stuff. I'm perfect for this, but they might not just see what you're saying. So sometimes your first role might not be something that's uh exactly what you want to do, but that's not the goal. The goal is to get in, find your footing, and then leverage that to get to where you want to get to. So that's one of the challenges I faced. In addition to like just trying to work on a project, not being able to do it, or facing many challenges. Like Google has been my friend, um, to find solutions to those challenges. Hopefully that was a sensible answer.
Yes, definitely. It was. All right. So we have two more online questions. We'll just take them 1 minute each. One says, can we get some of the podcasts, especially the one about cyber news? Can we find them on Spotify?
Yeah, so whatever podcast platform you're using, you can just search for them. I'm going to send a list to the chat of the ones that I know of, but you can easily search for them on whatever platform you're using and find them and you know that try to find the one that you like, really. You might not like the same things that I
Yeah.
like.
Mhm. All right. So another question we have here is, are there companies who employ beginners, quote, beginners that pay for their certifications?
Uh Maybe. So it depends on the company. So some companies have a policy where like they actually have a budget for things like certifications and courses. Mostly like consulting firms because they want to upskill you as quickly as possible because the more the more senior you are, the more they can bill uh for you basically. So their goal, once you get hired, their goal is to like upskill you as fast as possible so that they can charge more for your time. So for my to my knowledge, those are the kind of companies that mostly like have dedicated budgets. So like as long as it's aligned to what the business needs, um, they would support you with that. So yeah, companies like that exist, but again, it just depends on the company's policies.
All right. So now we'll be taking the on-site question. Before we do that, we would have a brief photo session, right? So I'd like everyone to please turn on their cameras, just a very brief photo session before we go into the questions we have on site. All right, that'll just take like 1 minute, please. If you're in a place where you can turn on your cameras, please, let's do this. This is just for social media purposes. All right, I see you, Damilola. I see you, Innocent. Please, let's just switch on our cameras, just so we could take good pictures. Okay. Mm. All right. So let's go into the on-site question. So if you have your questions, you can raise up your hands, your virtual hands. I will unmute you and you can speak. I think I saw Damila's hand up. All right. Um, Damila, over to you.
Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, Mr. Aliyu. Your session was really insightful. I've learned a whole lot. I've learned that you should put yourself out there, should be prepared for opportunities, be audacious, and a whole lot of things, take action and all of that. So thank you so much for that. Also, my question for you is, you talked about seeking mentorship and guidance. So from some in my my small experience, like relating with people, professionals in cybersecurity space, sometimes when you reach out to people that are like that when you reach out to professionals in the tech space, some of them, like for mentorship or guidance, some of them do not reply. Some of them are like, oh, they're busy. They can't take on mentorship. They can't mentor anybody because of like they have a lot they are doing and all of that. So what do you think is the best way to get mentorship or like approach people for mentorship? Yeah,
Right.
that's my question.
So, um, yeah, that's a great question. From from my perspective, right, I I don't have I don't have a mentorship program. I'm not like an official mentor per se. Um, but I try to respond to anyone who reaches out to me. Um, Sometimes I'm not very good at that because I miss I miss messages. But to the best of my ability, I try to respond to whoever reaches out to me. You can say that's mentorship, right? So you don't have to reach out to someone and say, be my mentor. Like that carries a lot of pressure to some people that they're not willing to take on. And that is the same way I feel as well. I don't see myself as like this mentor guy. But if there's something you feel like, okay, this guy is the best person to answer my question, and you ask the question, I'll try and respond. And that is actually how a lot of really good like mentorship relationships start, where you reach out to someone, they answer your question, you ask like really very intelligent questions, questions that makes the person actually think, right? It's not a question that will make the person think that, okay, why didn't you just Google this? A question that's like that will make the person think and say, okay, now I need to think about this, or I need to Google some stuff to make sure what I'm saying is correct. Like interesting questions, right? Just ask those questions. Nothing is stopping you from asking anybody any question. You don't have to have like, okay, you're my mentor now, we'll draft a contract, and now we are mentor, mentee. No, it's not like that, in most instances anyway. I know there are some official mentorship programs like Dr. Etis has a mentorship program that you can actually apply to and enter, which is really good. But for most people, if you're looking to get answers, just reach out, really. Yeah, so mentorship doesn't have to be official. And it can also be sideways as well. It can be other people who are learning. If you see someone that's always posting about, I don't know, API security, or always posting about forensics, and you want to learn more, just reach out to the person. Person doesn't have to be this like, okay, there's mentor written on my profile or something like that, you understand? Just anybody really.
Okay, thank you so much for your answer.
All right, thank you. I think you have Innocent, right? So if you want to ask questions, you have to switch on your video, so I can pin you up. All right.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Firstly, I want to thank you for this opportunity which you created for us to also learn more and also grow in this field. My question is, number one is that this project of a thing you are talking about, I would like you to break it down. You know, when you talk about doing project and talking about your projects, I would like to, I would want him to break it a little bit down for us to know the area is coming from. And my second question goes like this: that if you want to, how do you approach an organization or a firm that do not have cyber security in their company? How do you approach them for you to conduct training or a pen test in that organization? Because you talked about audacity. That's why I'm saying this.
Right, that's another really good question. So in terms of projects, I think I'll just show you my I'll just show you my projects on my website. So let me see. Hopefully my screen is visible and I've shared the right one. Uh so yeah, this is my website, and if you go to projects, you'll see this is not everything. I still need to update it. I need to take my own advice and keep my projects updated. But one of my projects is called Zero Health. So this is like an open source vulnerable web application that anyone can use to learn more about application security, or if you want to learn about ethical hacking and you want to hack a vulnerable application, this is something that you can potentially use. And I made it open source as well, so the code is there for anyone to see. And yeah, this is one of my projects. So it has like features of a medical application, but it also deliberately has different types of vulnerabilities that people can use to learn. So something like this is a project. It's on my LinkedIn, it's on my so my GitHub link is linked on my CV as well. So if you go to my GitHub, you'll see all the other like code-based projects that I've created. Um, and yeah, that's just one of my projects. So I've seen people do projects where you have this you basically build like a SIM tool. not build from scratch, but you deploy something like uh Wazo or Security Onion or whatever, and use that to create to do some security operations center labs and things like that. That's also a project. A project can also be stuff that you do on like Hack the Box or Try Hack Me, right? You can do a write-up of, okay, what have I done on this lab? What did I learn? Um, what tips can you share for other people that are trying to learn as well? So it can really be anything as long as it showcases your abilities and your what's it called? It showcases your abilities and showcases like, okay, this is what you have done. You understand? So it can really be anything. It can be, you talked about training. It can be training. You can create some kind of security awareness content tailored to a particular audience. I've seen people do uh use like various Nigerian languages to explain security concepts. That is a project. You can do security awareness for, I don't know, uh people that work in like people that sell stuff in the market. I don't know. It can be anything. So the second part, how to reach out to organizations. So it depends on the organization, right? It's like what kind of organization is it? What stage are they, like very small or medium or large? Is it a non-profit organization? So try to build a profile of like the type of organization you're trying to reach out to. But even before reaching out to, so let's say you're targeting like uh healthcare related organizations. That's your target. I don't know. Example, try to learn as much as you can about how cybersecurity affects healthcare industry, protecting patients' data. Try to learn as much as possible about them so that when you reach out, you can say, okay, yeah, this is a project I've worked on that's related to your organization. You can even create um a short snippet of like, okay, of a training so that you can show them a sample of like, okay, these are the kind of things that I want to do for you. Because if they don't really understand what you are trying to do for them or what they can get out from you, then they're not very likely to respond. But also understand the fact that most of the people you reach out to might not respond, or they might not respond positively. So try different things, see what works, see what doesn't work. Um, because at the end of the day, like, it's from all that experimentation that you'll come up with something that works and increase your chances of success.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thanks.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Lee. So I think we had Balogun raise up her hand. I don't know if you still have your question. And one Isaac, I don't know whether he's still here. But does anyone have any question? Um, Balogun, do you still have your question? Do you still have your question, rather? All right, so
It has been answered.
okay, go ahead. We have been
Like
answered.
someone asked, so I think I understand.
All right, all right. So I don't think we have any other questions again. All right, so let me just ask this question before we go. So Mr. Leo, how do you balance? What's your work-life balance like? I know you said you are almost burnt out now. So how do you balance work and other stuffs?
That is a very good question. Question I'm still asking myself because um it's not just work-life balance because of course I have my day job that I'm committed to full time. So I have to give my best to that day job, which is goes back to what I said about being world class, right? You can't deliver half results and be world class. But I also have other commitments like the volunteering stuff, Cyblack, my personal projects, and all that stuff. So I and then there's my personal life. So I try to balance everything by, understanding that it's never going to be over. You're never going to be able to do everything. How do they say it? Problem not dey finish. So once you understand that you're never going to be able to get to everything, it kind of gives you uh it kind of frees you up a little bit to say, you know what, I'm not going to put myself under unnecessary pressure. Another thing I do is try to also like time things. So for example, for this talk, we put it at a time where it's not like too close so that I have more time to prepare for it. Um, put together whatever content I need to put together and prepare myself for it. Um, so try to give yourself time and not put yourself under too much pressure. So for me, it's just recognizing those boundaries and for example, like with my day job, I rarely like ever like open my laptop on the weekend to say I want to work on it. It's just yeah, some days I might work longer than others, but once I close my laptop, it's like I just mentally check out and say, you know what, this is done. So try to create those kind of boundaries so that you don't get burnt out, but also just try to have enough rest, right? If you don't get enough rest, uh, your body is going to force you to rest at some point, right? If you fall ill or if you burn out, like you're just going to be unable to do anything, and you're going to have to rest, and it will take longer to recover from that. So just try as much as possible to get enough rest and have enough boundaries, really. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, it does. Thank you very much, sir, for that. All right. So I'll be leaving the stage for Feda to take over from here. But over to you.
Okay. Hi everyone again. This has been a very, very, very amazing session. Very, very insightful, if I say the least. Like, I love the fact that you're able to simplify a lot of things and, pour out your knowledge out there. So thank you again from the entire CyberCrooners community. I want everyone to give a virtual clap for our wonderful speaker today. Thank you so, so, so much. The entire CyberCrooners community says a very, very big thank you for showing up today, for coming to share your knowledge, for making out time to speak with us. We do not take it for granted. I pray that every other thing goes very well for you. Thank you so, 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 so much. Thank you, sir. So,
Thanks. Oh,
yeah,
yeah. Yeah, I just wanted to say, yeah, thanks for having me here, and thanks to everyone as well for being an engaging audience. And yeah, I really wish you all the best in your career going forward.
thank you again, sir. So, as we do every CyberCrooners session, we announce our next month session. So this month we've done this. We've done so many sessions for the past 9 months. And so next month is another month. And next month, we have something quite different for us. And if you can see the screen being shared, you can see that we have a new speaker and a new sect. Instead of the normal hacking, always gear or career, it's a different part of cybersecurity. So it's landing your first role in governance, risk, and compliance with Nia Lucky. It's going to be an amazing session. So you guys this is already a sneak peek. So Crooners, they're already seen a sneak peek to the next session. Before the outside world sees, they're already seen it. So we're going to have this session on the 25th of October, Saturday. Our same time, 3 p.m. West African time and 10 p.m. Eastern time. It promises to be an amazing and insightful session. And so the link for registration will be out soon. So once you see it, just register, send to your friends. You can even screenshot it now, save as well on this call. You can post on your story, you can post on your status, let people to anticipate so they will know. So yes. Oh, sorry, I made an error. My bad. I meant 3 p.m. West African time and 10 a.m. Eastern time. So it's promised to be a very, very amazing session. Pardon my mistake in the just a little bit of an error. But yeah, it doesn't change the fact that the session is going to be very, very amazing. So please mark your calendars for the 25th of October. Mark your calendars, mark your Google, mark your everything you can mark. Mark it for that session. It's going to be very, very amazing. All right. So I'm going to hand over back to our wonderful host, Mr. Daniel. So the CyberCroner, over to you. Okay. Over to you.
All right. Thank you everyone for joining in. Thank you, Mr. Aliyu. Thank you for giving us your time. Thank you for imparting the knowledge. Thank you for all you do. Also I want to thank everyone for joining in. I also want to thank the community managers for putting this and making this a success. This would not have been without you all. I can't wait to see you next month, October 25th. It's going to be amazing, right? Please don't forget to connect with Mr. Liu on YouTube and on LinkedIn, X too. And yes, please engage with him. And also let us know how amazing the session was. You can go to his LinkedIn page, his X, just comment, just thank him and connect with him. As he said, be consistent, love your work, have the passion, leave the money aside for now, build your skills. The right opportunity will always come, bigger opportunities will always come. You can become world class even from your seats wherever you are in the world, right? You don't have to really be there. So I can't wait to see everyone next month. And yes, it's going to be amazing again. Thank you everyone for joining in and have a wonderful weekend. Bye.